Title of this video is Empathy is Killing Me, but that does not necessarily mean, in fact, it doesn't mean at all that I will ever stop having empathy. It just means that the amount of empathy that I feel, especially towards people who I know either feel no empathy for me whatsoever or would never do the things for me that I do for them in return. Um, I need less empathy. And I've wanted to talk about this subject for a while, but I don't know how to talk about this subject without sounding like I'm trying to make myself better than other people. It's not necessarily a point of pride to have this much empathy, okay? It's not a brag. It's not something that I want. It's just the way I've always been. And you can find so many examples from the past that fly in the face of what I'm saying that, oh, you didn't have any empathy here, you didn't have a lot of empathy here. These past couple of years of my life have been really revealing in a lot of ways. And I have faced my mental health more than I've ever faced it before. And through facing it, I have revealed things that have always been a part of me, but became magnified and emboldened. And one of those things that became emboldened was this overwhelming sense of guilt that I feel when I tell somebody no, or when I tell somebody that I can't do something for them, especially if they were really looking forward to it. I feel so bad. And I know that everybody feels bad when they deny somebody something that they want, especially if it's something that they want to do for somebody else, but they're just physically unable to, or they can't afford it, or because they're too tired. Whatever the reason is, we all feel, unless we're sociopaths, we feel bad about these things. But for me, it's something that festers on my brain for a long, long time. I go to bed thinking about each and every single thing I did that day that went towards denying somebody something. Something as simple as telling somebody no to an offer on Facebook Marketplace. That hits me. It hits me and it sticks with me an unhealthy amount. Passing by somebody on the street who's got a cup out and you don't put money in their cup, and the only thing I think about is how many other people have passed by this person, and even worse, how many people have passed by this person and spat on them or said something mean towards them. All of the thoughts, it's not just the fact that this person's sitting there with a cup. It's all the things that they've had to go through and all the things that they've had to witness, and what put them there in the first place. In this country, Finland, supposedly where homelessness is just not a thing, especially here, when you see somebody sitting there on the street, you really begin to, the gears really start turning, and I just feel like a piece of shit. And I hide it and I mask it, and I've hidden it so well over the years, not in healthy ways, but I've hidden it. I've hidden it with self harm. I've hidden it with anger. I've hidden it with just trying to be cool and just not giving a fuck. And it always leads me back down the same road, depression. It always leads me to dealing with it the only way I've ever really truly known how, sitting there and doing nothing. And that's not an option in my life anymore. I can't afford that luxury. I can't, in my current situation, I can't just sit there and do nothing and stare at a wall, stare at a TV, stare into a video game, even though my brain is saying, okay, empathy overload. You're feeling way too bad about way too many things that you shouldn't feel bad about, but you're going to feel bad anyway. Go bury your nose in a video game or something completely unproductive. So I try to be productive, and I try to go out and do things that will advance my life forward. And then other things happen that put the brakes on that. And I feel even worse. You know, different people, usually therapists, different times in my life have said that I'm an empath. And there's some other word that one particular psychotherapist used on me, or a term they used on me. It's like, you feel a lot more than other people. Like when somebody feels angry or sad or upset, because I asked, I'm like, why do I keep doing things for people who won't return the favor, who probably would not even thank me? And it's just an impulse because of all of this fucking disgusting, or this disgusting amount. Empathy is not disgusting, but this amount of empathy, this disgusting amount of empathy that I have, lends me to being something of a doormat, I guess. And I've never thought of myself as a doormat because I've never thought of myself as important enough. I've never thought of myself as having enough to give to another person to be stepped on, not not wealthy enough, not wise enough to dole out advice just to not be able to find an ear when I need some advice myself. I've always just been this guy. I've always just been this guy. How could I possibly be a doormat? I have nothing to offer. Sometimes I feel like I have nothing to offer this world. Even if I have talents and even if I have things that I can do, sometimes I legitimately feel like the only thing that I have to offer is me, is myself to other people. And sometimes those other people, they don't care. And they get what they need and they skedaddle. And that's what I've been facing lately. And it's made me feel even worse. I already go to this bed every single night with all the thoughts, all the thoughts, all the guilt, all of the things that make me feel ashamed that shouldn't make me feel ashamed. I still feel shame. I feel all of these negative emotions and I sit here and I think about them for 10, 20 minutes and I do fall asleep. They don't keep me awake, but then I wake up and I got the same fucking thoughts and I got to get ready and I got to go and do my language course. I got to get ready and I got to go do this thing and that thing. Sitting in the car, you know? I don't know what the point of this video is. I'm tired. I'm just really tired of living like this. And I don't know how to stop living like this. I don't know how I can strike a balance between setting a boundary and leaving myself open enough to other people's feelings and their thoughts and their ideas and their expressions. How do I strike this balance? And how do some people say no to others somehow and then just move on? How do some people dole out bad news and just move on? Is it part of being autistic? I don't know. Was I born with it? Is there some gene in me that makes me take things like that so heavily? These past couple of years, when I've really been focusing on my mental health, and I feel like I have been way less depressed than I've ever been in my life. These things that they pop up. It's like I make progress and I feel better in this way, but now I feel worse in this way. Even something as simple as like Facebook Marketplace. The other day, somebody offered me a much lower amount for something that they wanted to buy that I was selling. And they said it was something that they really wanted to get for their daughter. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but I just can't do it at that price. And I almost instantly found out why I would be no good in the business world. Why I could never be a fucking businessman. Why I could never negotiate because I felt so horrible just telling this guy that I couldn't do this. It didn't mean I turned right around and said, "Okay, okay, okay, here, no, I can do it. It's okay, fine." But a couple weeks later, I did because nobody was buying this thing. And I said, okay, well, I guess I can afford to take this offer. So I went to him to try to take the offer and I couldn't find his profile anywhere. I don't know if he was mad and he blocked me. I don't know if he was sad and he blocked me. I don't know if he was embarrassed and he blocked me. But in any event, it made me feel so fucking horrible because I almost felt excited, like, oh, I can go and tell this guy that I can give him this thing at this tiny price, and nowhere to be found. And it made me feel really bad. That's just one small example of something that I feel is just filling me with an inordinate amount of guilt and sadness and pain. And I'm not even going to go into some of the finer things, but personal things. But I just want to feel less. And I know how some people do that. I know some people turn to alcohol, some people turn to drugs, some people turn to just being a complete, stunning, massive asshole. And I don't want to do any of those things. And I'm lucky enough to where I'm not predisposed to some of those things. But there are times where I feel like time is kind of running out because I don't like living like this and I can't find a way. It's either that or I backslide on all of the progress I made with my depression. So I stopped doing my therapy. I stopped doing my medication. I stopped trying to actively make my life better. I stopped working out, stopped rock climbing, stopped doing all of these things and just embrace being a miserable piece of shit because it's what uh not what I deserve, but it's there's always a part of my brain that's telling me that, when somebody is treating me this way, even if I have no real logical reason to believe it, I must deserve it. If this person who says they love me and they care about me and they're always going to be in my corner says they can't do this very simple, basic thing that I need to feel like less of a piece of human shit that has no purpose or value on this earth, if they can't do that one single thing for me, then I did something so horrible to make it that way. It's not because this person just might be a little bit of a prick, just a little bit of the person that you never really got to know for all those years. It's me. It's always me. I, feelings suck. It's good to share them. It's good to have them. It's better than not having them. But whoever coined the phrase, I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all, I would like to meet them and kick them in their nuts because I would rather feel nothing than pain. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you on drugs? Oh, I'd rather hurt than feel nothing at all. How much? How much would you rather hurt than feel nothing? To what degree are we talking? Like just like a little bit of emotional pain or like, oh, I'd rather feel crippling depression that makes me question my existence and whether or not I even want to live on a daily basis. You'd rather feel that than nothing at all. Bullshit. It sucks. And I don't like it and I don't know. To reiterate, being an empath is not a good thing. Having empathy is a good thing. It's a very good thing, having a healthy amount of it. But having enough of it to where you sometimes even physically feel so horrible about saying no and feel so horrible about not doing something for somebody. And when somebody is yelling and mad or if they're really sad, sitting there and being able to like not in some mystical way, but in a very real human way, feel all of their fucking grief. I don't like it. Sometimes I just want to turn it off.